Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Matthew Lawrence Scigousky, your expert at unlocking, developing, and using assets derived from challenge, struggle, and adversity in life. And today I'm going to talk all about how to use an adversity that you have and turn it into an amazing life asset. You may have something physical, or it could be something internal that you're just not comfortable with, but the bottom line is it's holding you back. And regardless, I want to show you how to use that very thing and turn it into something that can propel you in life. When you do, I also believe that it's going to unlock the door to abundance so it can enter your life. It's one of the benefits of embracing adversity. Okay, if this sounds like something that you would like to learn how to do and change your life with, then let's dive into it. Where I want to start is something I've been wanting to do for a while. And I thought I would probably do this in the beginning, but better late than never. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share my own personal story with you so you can learn a little bit about me. So, I call myself an expert at unlocking assets through challenge, struggle, and adversity. And so where in the world does that come from? And how did I get to be a quote unquote expert at it? Well, it all started for me as a young child. I was misdiagnosed with MS about when I was probably about a year old. And by age 3, my left leg was actually about an inch shorter than my right. And doctors kind of finally figured out that I didn't have MS at all. What I had was a spinal tumor that was basically kind of wreaking havoc on my left leg. It was shutting down the nerve signals, and my leg just wasn't developing properly. So at age 5, I had my first surgery to remove it, and that was actually at Stanford University. Unfortunately, it grew back, and I had another surgery at age 10. It was my final spinal surgery to actually successfully get rid of it. But over the course of that time frame, from 5 to probably more like around 11 years old, I underwent a half dozen, 6 surgeries on my spine and my left leg. And I just remember going through all of that, and I developed this incredibly deep fear of hospitals because I had to endure a lot of pain. And I remember feeling just overwhelming fear. I don't know if you know if you ever felt like what that feels like it just kind of shuts you down, you can't move. I felt this fear every single time my mother, would tell me, well, we have another doctor's appointment to go to, and it would just smother me. And that's kind of what I had to go through as a kid. So after my first surgery, I thought, well, okay, great, I got through this, it's over. And as I got older, unfortunately, I noticed that my left foot just wasn't really the same size as my right, and it was starting to kind of look a little deformed. My toes were actually curving in, and it resembled what people call today clubfoot. So that fear inside of me just made me want to hide it. It wanted me to make me hide it from my mom because I knew that, I knew if she noticed that it meant we're going back to the hospital, and all I remember from going to the hospital was just fear and pain. And so, I didn't say anything to her, but eventually, moms are smart. She figured it out because I was walking funny and it was just hard not to notice. So my childhood was really filled with a lot of fear, a lot of pain, and a lot of adversity. And if you were to ask me if I could go back in time, would I change it? What I will tell you is I wouldn't change a thing, not one thing, because even though it was filled with all the struggle and the adversity and the fear and the pain, it was also filled with learning how to overcome challenges. It was filled with growing both physically and mentally, growing strength in those areas. I learned how to adapt. I learned how to find a way when when it looked like there was never one to be had. And I also had to learn how to push myself, get creative. I developed incredible resilience, like I would call like world-class resilience, of just being able to take take it, take pain and move forward. And I became incredibly resourceful as well. These are all life assets that are invaluable. And as hard as it was for me to go through, I'm really just so incredibly grateful and appreciative, that I did. And the interesting thing is that, you know, what gratitude and appreciation did for me is it opened the door to living an abundant life. My left leg has been one of my greatest adversities in life, but through learning how to embrace it, learning how to use it, it became my most valuable asset. And today, I call it my superpower. So, I realized as I grew older, there really wasn't anything I couldn't do if I put my mind to it and made a decision on where I wanted to go. Through all the health issues and all the surgeries, even with a deformed left leg, I grew up out in the Squaw Valley, Lake Tahoe area. I became a highly skilled ski racer. I learned how to ski on basically one leg and actually competed in racing and eventually started making podiums. Eventually my mother moved us back to the Chicago suburbs when I was in junior high. I got bullied relentlessly through grade school. And I had to learn how to, basically, it was interesting. It was like, I wasn't going to take that. I had to learn how to fight back and defend myself. And in junior high, it kind of continued. So my dad actually put me in Kenpo karate. I became a brown belt in karate, really for self-defense purposes, but it taught me so many amazing things. And then as I progressed through high school, I became a high school wrestler, a pretty good one. And then in college, I became a track athlete of all things. I know that sounds crazy, but I actually did. I was a thrower, and I actually earned a partial scholarship to help pay my way through college. After I graduated college, I've always been into lifting weights, and I became a competitive bodybuilder in my early 20s and did pretty well at it. So one of the lessons that I learned was, that what others think would be impossible, I just decided to do it anyways. And I figured out that it's only impossible if you believe it is. You see, many people are going to cast their own doubts and their own fears onto others simply because they can't see it themselves. That is why I do not pay any attention to the quote unquote naysayers. If I did, they would have me playing the victim, playing the blame game. And if you've ever heard me talk about the blame game, that is a game that you do not win even when you do. So everything I learned in childhood up into my early adult life, I then took all these amazing lessons and I applied them toward a career in the medical device industry, and I became a medical device sales rep. The ironic thing is that the place I feared the most became where I built a highly successful sales career over the last 30 years. In essence, I walked into my greatest fear from childhood and I turned it into an incredibly lucrative career that's been insanely rewarding for me. And, so my leg, it was an adversity. I had to overcome it. But it wasn't until I truly embraced it that I would say the magic really happened. You see, it took me, and you could probably, I'll bet you that if you're struggling with something yourself, you're going to be able to relate to this. It took me a long time to come to terms with everything that I went through. I had those conversations with the guy upstairs. Don't you think you've done enough to me? Like, that was one of the conversations I had. And just because that I had to endure a lot of pain and adversity, it doesn't give me a free pass to just cruise through life with. Oh, no more struggle for you. I gave you a ton of it when you're younger. It just doesn't work that way. But unfortunately, I think a lot of people fall into that trap. And, I will tell you that I fell into that trap for a while, but I got myself out of it by realizing the beauty of my leg. I embraced it fully, and when I did, it became my superpower. There was no more room for this thing called resentment in my life. There was just pure gratitude and appreciation for the path that had been laid out for me. And I'll tell you this, the path isn't easy. It's not an easy one because I've had to do a lot of hard things in life. But because I choose to do the hard things, life has become pretty easy and extremely rewarding. So by embracing my adversity, I can now serve others and show them exactly what to do, what I've done. And this form of contribution is truly, it's a gift, and it fills my heart with joy to just impact others with my own personal example. This path has led me on to the next chapter of my life now, one of service, contribution, positive impact on those I come into contact with, and really sharing all that I know through my 5 books, audiobooks, writing, speaking, eventual courses, and now I get to do YouTube videos, which is so much fun. And when I think about it, wow, like what a pretty amazing ride. And it's really just getting started for me here at 51, and I think that's pretty cool. So, that's my story really up to this point. There's a lot of other things, that I'll be talking about in other videos because, life is life. Life's going to just throw things at you. And I've had to learn how to go through other challenges and struggles that weren't anything related to my left leg. But, what I really, really would like is that I would like my story to inspire you, because if I can do this, if that little boy who was misdiagnosed with MS, I used to have braces on my legs. I look like Forrest Gump. If you remember that part of the video where he had the braces on, I walked around like that for years. But if I can do it, I know you can do it. So one of the things I wanted to do in this video, other than just share my story, is I also wanted to break down really what are my top 10 principles for taking that adversity or whatever it is you're struggling with and really turning it into an asset that can propel you in life. So we're going to go through this top 10 list. These are going to be the top 10 key principles. Number 1, whatever your adversity is, you must no longer use it as an excuse. Otherwise, you are going to stay stuck. You're going to stay exactly where you're at. So I like to say this, remove the excuse. No more. Number 2, by embracing your adversity, you can begin to heal from whatever trauma that you've had to go through. And trust me, I know what it feels like. It's not fun. But you have to allow yourself to feel it, process it, begin the healing process, and then you know what happens after that? Then you get to move forward. You get yourself out of that rut, and you get to move forward in life. All right, number 3. Instead of holding you back now, you can look for ways to do things that you didn't think you could do before. Incredibly crucial. Number 4, this leads to discovery. You will discover things that you didn't know about yourself and unlock all kinds of assets that were lying dormant. There's things that are sleeping inside of you. This is number 5. We're going to move on to number 5, and I'm going to release my inner sci-fi geek because I'm a total sci-fi nerd, and my favorite sci-fi movie is Dune. So in the words of Paul Muad'Dib, the sleeper has awakened. Assets like courage, confidence, adaptation, power of positivity, creativity, self-worth, gratitude, and appreciation, the door to them is now open, along with so many other assets as well, for you to develop and now use in life. All right, number 6, reframing. You get to reframe the story you've been telling yourself, to one of now overcoming the adversity, and you can allow that now to use it to skyrocket yourself. By doing so, you will now have developed an empowering perspective. And this is one of my, I call it EP, but an empowering perspective is one of my favorite life assets. And that's number 7. Now you can use an empowering perspective in every situation in your life or that life throws at you for positive outcome, even when it's not. Because guess what? A lot of times things in life, they aren't positive. Things just happen. But you can use an empowering perspective to see the positive inside of them. Now, let's move on to number 8. Number 8 is this. Repeat after me. I am a creator. You are a creator, okay? The energy that you are tapping into now, you can create the exact life you want with it. It's pretty amazing. Number 9, you are deserving of overwhelming good to enter your life, okay? You are worthy. Get ready for abundance because you are now clearing away a lot of the blocks that were actually keeping the good things from coming into your life. Very important. And number 10. Number 10 is, it's really about belief. Because I think that a lot of people just don't have that belief in you. But if you follow these 10 principles, you know, I really believe that the time has arrived for you to finally believe in you. I believe in you. Now it's your turn to believe in you. If you can turn what was holding you back into a superpower, you can do anything. And you should believe it. Because if I can do it, I know you can do it. All right. So there it is. The only question really left to ask is, are you ready? You know, say yes and hit that go button. Because what better time to get started than right now to make those changes that you've been wanting to make and to stop letting the adversity in your life really control your life. Learn how to use it, and it can become one of the most amazing assets that you've ever experienced. So, you know, that's my story. Those are my 10 principles. I know they can help you. Before I go with all my videos, I just want to say thank you for watching today. You know, click on that like button if you like the video. Leave a comment. I would love to hear what you think. Ask me any kind of question you have. I promise you I will get back to you. And you know what? This is the last thing. If you subscribe to the channel, and I would love it if you did, you have a commitment from me. And that commitment is that every single week, I'm going to be dropping a video all about how to use challenge, how to use struggle, and how to use adversity in life to unlock all the amazing assets that are inside of you so that you can live your best life, and honestly, so you can kick ass at life. All right? So until next time, this has been Matthew Lawrence Scigousky. I'll see you soon.